connection to talk to each other, and let's have some fun as the world either ends or doesn't end. So I'm going to bring on Nicole and see how you're doing, Nicole. Hi.
Hi.
How's it going?
Good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Just
Do you have a
some
good,
just a light question to start it
just a
off.
light, a little light question, I was thinking about it. I was like, well, I'd be curious to hear what people are thinking.
It's
If
funny.
it's, oh, go ahead. Yeah.
Well, when you asked that question, I was thinking, yeah, what world? I mean, maybe the end of the human race
Maybe.
in
It could
but not
be.
the world necessarily.
Right. Right. Yeah. And what you like for me, it's like what world or whose world or, you know, sometimes it just means that you don't understand exactly what's happening when we say that. Or sometimes it might be, I don't know, sometimes it's a little bit like kind of selfish too. It's like, how could you even say there's an end of the world when there's all these like young people who are growing up in it? Like, they don't want to hear that. And their world isn't ending, right? So,
I
they're
don't
just
know.
they're just
We,
inheriting something a little bit different than maybe some of the older generation got.
I think
So
so. I mean, it's definitely like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like there's been other times in history where people thought the world was ending or
yeah,
and it was maybe in a sense like
yeah.
somebody said
When
like
I was
the beginning of a new one.
yeah,
It's always a cycle, but
yeah, I think the belief in a cycle helps a lot. And yeah, when I was a kid, I remember there was always a cartoon with like a guy with a lot of shaggy hair and holding a sign that said, "It's the end of the world." And it was like a cartoon. And so it's funny to me sometimes to say it or to think that people are saying it. And I also saw this movie, Benedetta. I don't know if you know about that. It's a Verhoeven movie. Remember the guy who made Basic Instinct and RoboCop?
yeah.
And the one about Vegas and what was it called? Strip. It's very campy. Anyway, I saw a film of his that was done in kind of like late medieval times, and so it was very end of the world in that film. So just a little bit of that movie left over in me tonight. We're gonna get through it. And would you like to doodle?
Yeah, let's do that. Okay,
Okay.
this part.
This is always the part that takes a lot of thinking.
Yeah, wait.
And remember, you're kind of on the lower part of the screen too.
Here, let's
But it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too. I'm always
Yeah.
want to this. I watch them later because I this time is kind of crazy usually for me. Or I'm just like done by this time on
Yeah.
Friday.
Oh, yeah. Right. Right. No, I'm the
No,
same
but
way.
that I'm glad I get to do this again with you.
Yeah.
Um,
Thank you for doing it.
let's
Yeah.
see.
What happened is because this is kind of like our last month of the
Mhm.
show. I started thinking like I want to bring some people back. Who
Yeah.
want to
Oh,
keep
wait.
talking
Sorry,
to
I'm
us.
having issues here. Let me. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. I
Oh
see
wait,
your paper.
you
It's kind of
got
at
really
an.
quiet. Hold on.
Oh yeah. Can you hear me? Uh-oh.
There we go. My volume just got went
Oh,
down.
okay.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe it accidentally got pushed off. Okay.
Like a feat. All right.
All
Can you
right. Let's
probably
make a new world on a piece of paper.
is there something blocking this? Oh yeah.
Yeah, it looks like your camera tripod is
Here we go.
blocking it. Oh,
Oh
you,
my God. Here we go.
you're all right.
Ugh. I don't know. Is it the end of the world? Is that
Oh,
what?
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to start it off so negative. Then I didn't mean to put a whammy on your camera.
There we go. Is that good?
Okay, there we go. It worked
Okay.
out. All right. So I know you've been busy. You said you've been making murals and stuff. Is that right?
Yeah. Yep. I have. I mean, it's yeah. I'm making a lot of murals
That's,
for
I mean,
for the restaurant.
now is this someone you know or is this your own or?
Yeah. We're opening a restaurant.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
What
For
kind of, yeah, you sound really excited.
no,
So,
I am. I just, it's been a long time. It's a long time coming. I mean, I'm doing the murals for it. And
oh,
I'm
I
just,
see.
it's a family affair, I guess. But yeah, so I'm doing a bunch of murals for working with a designer or whatever.
And what kind of food is it?
It's like gonna be seasonal American. We hate that word. We hate saying that, but it's like eclectic, but with like European, I guess, like
Oh, yeah.
Italian kind of base. There's
Mm-hmm.
gonna be a raw bar and stuff. A
Is, is
pizza.
your, is, is your background Italian?
Yes, I am Italian. I'm actually applying for dual citizenship.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah.
Just in case Trump gets reelected, right?
Yeah, I mean, not that they're much better in Italy. I mean, they had what's that guy? Uh, who did they have? They had like the of Italian version of Trump as their president before Trump. Oh, I can't think of his name right now. Do you know who I'm talking about?
I don't. I don't know much about Italian politics.
Oh, it's crazy. But
I do like Italian film directors, though.
so do I. And I also, I mean, and it's really beautiful there, but you also get, you know, access to the EU because,
Right.
if you get that. And also then my child will have it.
Yeah.
I
That's
get it.
great.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
so yeah, that's my background. Um
Yeah. The reason why for some reason, this film that I saw last night, and then I'll shut up once I get this out of my system.
is
But
it
this film
about
I saw last night,
the medieval
Benedetta, it's like
film?
a medieval, yeah, kind of medieval, kind of late Renaissance, and it's in Italy. It's in a place
Oh,
called Pescia, I think, which is where there was a nunnery, and it's about an abbess of a nunnery who ends up having a lesbian affair,
oh my
but she
God.
also,
It's
mhm,
based there's a book about her that I read
uh-huh, yeah,
called
yeah,
If
that's what it's based
Not
on.
Acts. Have you read the book?
No, I haven't read the book, but she has all sorts of miracles happen to her, and she's kind of like has visions of Christ and stuff like that. Is that kind
Is
of
it
like what the?
like sleepless crime? Isn't it like she's like, oh, I'm sleeping. I don't know. She was like sleeping with another nun who was like channeling Jesus or something. I don't remember now. I just remember I got this book. I saw this book and I was like, oh my God, like
Yeah,
lesbian nuns. I want this book.
this movie is so okay. So first of all, there's a lot of nudity, which I'm always happy about because it's like you just don't see a lot of that in American movies. And then also there's it's got kind of a queer sensibility to it. She has all these visions, but I'm not going to do any spoilers about Jesus, but some unusual things going on with Jesus, and
Mm.
it's all very, it's kind of like a sexual fever dream. There's unfortunately also a lot of cruelty and torture because it is, because
What do
basically it's heresy as well. But but it is kind of campy in a way too. It's got Charlotte Ramping in it, and for a film that's kind of about nuns, it's very. There's just a lot of things where I started to laugh just because they're so kind of perverted and fun. And I mean, I just never knew I'd have so much fun watching something so awful.
Wait, what is it? I didn't. I had no idea. This is like not.
So it's Verhoeven who did that. You know, he's a strange. He did Basic Instinct, so it's kind of pervy, and kind of. I don't even know if pervy's the right word. It's kind of celebrating. It's kind of celebrating women's sexuality in a very strange way. Oh, but I saw it last night, and there were protests. It kind of reminded me of old days where people were protesting in front of a film. The Catholic Church or an organization was protesting it as a blasphemous film because it's very blasphemous. But you're kind of like, I mean, the director's an atheist. What do you expect? So.
Well, yeah. What about? It reminds me of that. There's that. I think it's like Pedro Almodovar or whatever movie about the drug dealing nuns.
Yeah, those are good too. I'm forgetting that one, but I forget that one, but that's a good one too.
I wanted to be a nun when I was a kid.
Oh, wow. Interesting.
Yeah.
You might, I mean, I don't know if I don't want to recommend this film. This is not a film I would see again, but because it's not like that kind of film, but at the same time, it is something to experience. You might want to see it if you like the book. I don't know. There are some things that are darkly funny.
The book is it's a true story.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's written by a woman, the book, who found, was researching something about Catholic, I don't know, something about the Catholic Church, and she found this and was like, really.
Yeah. I think there are notes. I think that actually the woman who wrote it, she found the notes from the scribe of the trial for the abbess.
Yeah.
And so it's like, it's from his notes, and from what I read, she said something along the lines of like, she could tell how upset everyone was in terms of nuns having sex together. It was just, they were so blown away by it that she said that his handwriting was shaky and there was a lot of misspelling, and he was obviously very upset that women might have sex together. So it is kind of funny. And then there's just some crazy visions of Jesus as well. And I mean, it's already being talked about and like among the Catholic, it's like Catholic Icon Preservation League or something that's out there kind of trying to get people to boycott the film. I mean, it's just kind of like, wow, it's almost refreshing to have people being upset about a movie again. You know what I mean?
I guess, but
there's so many bigger things to be upset by.
Yeah, but that's kind of the trend lately, like
Yeah,
they're really freaking out about books. They're like banning all these books and stuff.
There's a part of me that just says you're not going to get rid of the thing that's really bothering you, which is you. It's not the book. It's like, you can destroy all the books you want. You're still going to have to live with how unhappy and miserable you are.
That is true.
Anyway, it's a fun film for the whole family.
There's take my kid, I think.
Yeah, you're just going to have to tell the kid about that there was no such thing as a Virgin Mary dildo, which figures in part of the plot as well.
I feel like Patty has one of those.
Really?
Yeah.
I have to talk to Patty about that.
She has some sort of like, Catholic sex toys happening.
That would make sense. Yeah, I guess. But in the long run, I mean, it's interesting because it also kind of made me think a lot about like late medieval times and Renaissance, and I've been kind of more interested in that because they were dealing with the plague back then. So I was like, how were they dealing with this? What was it like?
mhm.
And yeah, there's definitely, you get a sense of some it feels like it could be pretty historically accurate. And there's a lot of, yeah, I don't want to go into spoilers, but that's why it was on my mind. And that's interesting too about you wanting to be a nun. I had no idea. I think I want, I
Well,
think I wanted to be a priest when I was a kid, but I wasn't Christian at all. I think I just wanted the outfits and to be all like quiet, you know.
wait, you wanted to be a priest?
I think I wanted to be some kind of a religious figure,
Yeah.
but
Well,
yeah.
I feel like too, it's like this, it's like a different, it's also like not fitting into like heteronormative
Mm,
um society. It's like this separate thing. I mean,
mm-hmm.
I've had any sort of idea of that when I was a kid, but I think there's like that part of it too. It's like this other
Right.
realm.
Yeah, if you think about it too, it must have been it was like a good escape valve for people who didn't fit in or who couldn't get married or who
Totally.
couldn't figure out to survive, you know?
Totally. I
So
actually,
yeah.
woman I know who I met through who's a Meher Baba person.
Oh, interesting. So I was raised with that. Did
I
we talk
know.
about this? Oh, okay.
Did, yeah. I mean, I guess I don't know if, anyways, yeah. So she was a nun and she ended up leaving the church or whatever, and she married this guy, and then she figured out that she was gay.
Oh, yeah.
And so she left him. I mean, he was like cool with it or whatever, but yeah. And then she, ended up with a woman. But I just thought it was so interesting because she was a nun. I was like, yeah, that's why you were a nun,
Yeah.
probably. Like she didn't
Well, it's a woman, it's definitely
know.
an all female society, you know?
Yeah,
It's like
but
going into the military at one time probably was. It's like an all male society.
totally. Like she didn't even. What's wild to me is that she came out, or she basically figured out she was gay when she was like, I don't know, in her 50s, or I mean, she
Oh
was,
yeah.
and she just like really had no idea, really. Like she must have known in a subconscious way or whatever, but she was like, I had no idea. And then like I met this woman and like I was like feeling all these things in my body and I'd never felt them before. And I'm like, what? Anyways,
Yeah. I mean,
crazy.
maybe I'm making this up, but isn't there a point where like women might have a marriage or a family, and then at some point kind of just be sick of it and go, I don't want to deal with men again, you know?
I mean, that
Yeah.
happens. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just like it's a little, I got divorced or I decided not interested in men anymore. It just was too much, and I'd much rather be with a woman. I don't know. I mean,
Although
I'm not saying it's a decision, by the way. I mean, especially
no, and I
yeah,
definitely don't think it was with. I mean, it definitely was not with her. I mean, she could be, bi.
bye. Yeah.
Bi. I hate the term bi, by the way. But
Oh, how come?
well, I guess it could apply if you don't date. Like, it's just too because it's like on the binary. It's like suggests
Oh,
that there's two, only two genders.
right, right.
Um, I guess like the other term would be, I don't know, like I don't queer, I guess is better, but to me,
Yeah, I've
but
always felt like that covers a lot.
yeah,
Yeah.
it does. It covers a lot.
Well, and it's nice that it's good to find words that can be open to interpretation, or not open to interpretation, but allow for more wiggle room for things, you know?
Yeah, fluidity.
Yeah, fluidity. There we go.
Well, wait, let me
Yeah.
tell you, this made me think of this other guy
Okay.
that who came out. He came out as gay when he was like in his 70s, and apparently like also was like didn't really know he was gay. Um, but the way that I met him was like I was dating this woman who was a photographer and or is a photographer, and she was doing this project on it was kind of on people that like identified as like non-human.
Oh,
So
cool.
like um people that said they were elves or you know
Mm.
animals, some kind of animal or like whatever. And so I went with her on like a couple of like research things or whatever. She was like doing vampires was like the ones
Oh.
we went.
Mm.
Oh my God, it was so wild. We went to this like vampire meeting and like I don't know, it was just really they were like really into this being a vampire thing. But
Yeah, I think it can be. Uh, I had an experience on Halloween with a real vampire in New York, and it was a little scary, to be honest. The vibe was a very dark kind of thing,
what
and
happened?
I don't believe in that kind of thing. Oh, this is such a silly story. It's not even that good. I was at a pizza place, so my friend Nancy and I hope she's on. Maybe she can help with details. But my friend Nancy and I were like wandering around New York after the Halloween parade, and we went to a pizza place. I think it was in the Lower East Side, and there was like a tall African American guy, all in black, very definitely had the fangs, definitely kind of like what's that? What's that movie? More contemporary movie about a vampire.
Uh,
Uh,
ugh,
I'm forgetting, but anyway,
the-
he had
yeah.
it's like it had that look, kind of slightly S&M gothy vampire look.
Okay.
Um, and and I was waiting in the bathroom, and then he came up, and he kind of basically said he kind of convinced me that I shouldn't be in line, that he was next, which was all right. I'm like, okay, this guy seems to be pretty wound up, so I'm
Uh-huh.
just gonna let him go to the bathroom ahead of me, and then excuse me, then he left. Then I went into the bathroom, and the bathroom was like a crazy mess, like toilet paper everywhere, like a whirlwind hit it, like a crazy. I don't even know how to explain it. Like it just looked like it got the bathroom had a lot of loose toilet paper, and it got turned upside down and shook around. And then I walked in, and I was like, I was disoriented when I walked into that bathroom.
That's so weird.
It is so weird. Yeah, the toilet was down there. I wasn't drinking that night. The toilet was down. It's supposed to be down on the floor, and the mirrors there, and the lights there. But when I went in there, it just my eyes could not focus on what was going on for some reason. It was very strange. So I don't know what was happening, but and whether there was blood drinking involved or not. But I felt like there was something strange going on with the other person, or something strange in the bathroom
Weird.
in the middle of a pizza parlor in the Lower East Side.
I love it.
So stupid.
That's
It
so
wasn't, it's like a chain. That's what's even funnier. Nothing.
well, let me tell so this my vampire story
Okay. I'm sure
is
it's better. It's what?
was that the I'm not you're were
Oh,
you
the
done?
end? Oh, the
Yeah.
ends?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. That's how I
Okay.
tell stories. They don't really ever have ends.
So So she had contacted, we went to like this it was in New York. We went to some meeting and it was super weird. It wasn't, I don't know. Anyway, she found this guy who was a vampire, and so she lived in New York and I lived here in Philly. And so she said, I don't know, she called me up and was like, "Hey, I want to go photograph this guy. He lives in New Jersey. Do you want to meet me there?" I'm like, "Okay." So I go, and it's like Cinnaminson, New Jersey, and like a ranch house where this
Mm.
vampire lives. And we go in there, and it's just like so like suburbia and
Hmm.
very 70s, like hasn't been redecorated since the 70s. And so we're in there and we're talking to this guy. He's just like a guy, just like a regular guy, but he's a vampire. And I mean, he is like full on, like, I'm a vampire, right? And so so I live here with Ed and like and then his son, whose name I can't remember. And we're like, "Oh, is it like three generations?" And he's like, "Oh no, Ed's my partner." And we were like, "Oh my God, he's a gay vampire." Yes. And so he, yeah, so he was a gay vampire and he lived with this guy, Ed, who was older, was not a vampire. And he was the one who had come out when he was like 70.
Oh, interesting.
He had been married and now came out and now he's like dating a vampire. I don't know. It was very weird. It was super weird. And Ed's wife had died, and this was the house that they lived in. So this other guy, whose name escapes me right now, lived there with him and had a son, and the son lived there too. And the son was a dragon, something having to do with dragons. I can't remember. And he slept in a coffin.
Oh, wow, really?
Yeah, so Anna, yeah, we got in the coffin. We were like, okay, we're gonna get in the coffin.
So wait a second. So they basically have separate beds, unless it's a coffin for two.
They do, but yeah, they don't sleep in the same bed because he sleeps in a coffin. Yeah.
So, so let's just get to the point, which is he drinking human blood? Is that part of it too?
I don't think he really drinks human blood.
So he was just identified with a vampire.
Yeah.
Well, that's
I don't know. It's
interesting.
hard to get, like, there are some people, like, it's like hard to, like, sometimes get straight answers about that part for some reason, it seems.
Right.
Um,
Do you
but
ever see that that film? Was it The Remains of Time or something like that? And it's Tilda Swinton is a vampire in it, and oh, I can't remember who the guy is. It's beautiful. I mean, it makes you think that vampires are the coolest ever. It's really nice. It's like I can't remember a Jim Jarmusch film.
I don't
And
know.
oh, it's really the thing is, I get very disappointed sometimes where like people who are Satanists or vampires or kind of gothy, I get I don't like the fabric that they're attracted to. Like I don't. It's like if I'm gonna be goth, if I'm gonna be a vampire, and I don't mean to be all like uh, bougie about it, but
Yeah, you want to be a fancy goth. I totally,
fancy or at least like not polyester. Please don't wear a polyester robe to your, you know,
oh my,
your right, or like I,
I completely agree.
I don't want to be initiated in polyester. I don't want that. I want gauze. I want something substantial to be initiated in. So I just never got into it because of that. So when I saw that film, I was like, oh, they're wearing some nice stuff, like nice clothes, right? Just a little. I guess that's not the point.
Well, I think there's like that kind. It's like mall goth, and then
Yes, that's what I don't
there's
like.
like fancy goth, which is like Nick Cave goth. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
That
Yeah, they're basically romantics. It's basically romanticism. It's basically like, it has a literary aspect to it, so, and that's the stuff I like. But
Yeah,
the mall goth, I don't like that. Yeah. It's
Mary.
not. Hmm?
I don't. Yeah, I just think of like the romantic poets like Shelley and
Rimbaud and
Keats and
yeah.
you know, um,
Because in some ways goths are like they're really they really are very much about that kind of time and that philosophy, right? I would That's how yeah.
totally. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I was like a fancy goth.
Oh, you were?
I
Okay.
still kind of am. Not like I'm not. I definitely was not a mall goth. I don't know.
And if anyone's a mall goth out there, it's not that I'm judging it. It's
Yeah,
just
I mean,
yeah. I don't want people to think I'm judging your fashions. It's really more just about me and my own idea, and basically Hollywood damage probably is the big part of it. Yeah.
I agree. I can appreciate a mall goth, honestly, but
Yeah.
for me,
Like one of my students was wearing a Not Scary Farm hoodie, and it had all this like crazy gargoyle-y, you know, goofy stuff on it. And I was like, you could probably buy it at, online or at a mall store. And I was like, I like that. I would wear that.
yeah.
I because it's kind of like, kind of ghoulish but cartoony. So I get that too. Yeah. Such an interesting story about the guy. I mean, it's one thing to become gay at 70, but also to get together with a vampire. That's a little extra too.
Isn't
And
it? We were, what is happening here? And they had like in the living room, which he was telling us, the vampire was telling us that he couldn't redecorate that room because Ed said that his wife would get mad because his wife was still living in the house as a ghost. And
oh,
that they could not redecorate because that was like her space.
oh, yeah.
But
I
in
don't know
that
how that feels.
room was their little like two grooms thing from their cake, from
Yeah,
their they did a commitment ceremony.
yeah.
They had like that stuff in there. I was like, okay. And then they had like these animals that had these weird deformities. It was just so strange.
Oh, deformed taxidermy.
No, they had like a dog, and the dog had like, I feel like they had a little chihuahua or something, and he had like his tongue hanging out the side because I guess his teeth had been taken out or something.
Oh no, those chihuahuas when they age, I think that happens. Yeah, they get
Really,
the
they get
yeah.
the like droopy tongue. I
Yeah,
don't
they
know.
get the droopy tongue, and then the tongue, it gets a little dehydrated because it's drooped out all the time, so it starts to look a little like old leather.
Do you have,
Huh? Did I
do
have a
you have
chihuahua?
one?
No, I have a friend her girlfriend used to have a chihuahua. It's a long time ago when I lived in LA. And the chihuahua's name was Baby, but Baby was always basically toothless and always had its tongue hanging out. So it was
Right.
a
Yeah, and then like a cat with these like rumpled ear. I don't know.
they liked things that weren't
Well, you
easy.
know what, too? Like the kid, he was like socially awkward, let's say. And
Do you think maybe homeschooled?
I don't know, but he worked at Walmart, what he was doing now. And I just thought, this whole like fantasy world of like, he was like a dragon defender, I feel like is what he called himself.
Uh-huh.
Um, I just thought it was so like, I was like, this makes his like, I don't know, it's awesome that I don't know. I just thought it was cool that he did this because I was like, spice up his life a little.
I think we all need that in whatever way that you can do it, right? I
Totally.
mean, marrying a vampire is a commitment. I do, I am curious about like if his husband is still a vampire. But I don't know. I don't know enough about vampires. I don't know how I feel about people drinking blood. That might be just like a deficiency, like an iron deficiency or something. Like, or is it like a ritualistic thing, or the
It's ritualistic, yeah. I
interesting how we did go from the Catholic Church to vampirism, and that's interesting because of the cannibalistic undertones of both things. You know.
right, yeah.
Have you ever been into a Catholic ceremony where you eat the wafer and drink the wine kind of thing?
Oh yeah.
It's something.
I actually love, like, I'll just go sometimes to like midnight mass or something like that because I haven't done it in a long time, but it's very you know, I love ritual, and
Yeah.
it's very ritualistic and
Mm.
elements that, you know, I feel like it's very similar to like witchcraft,
Yeah, yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
I find it very. I find rituals very moving, and a way to bring resolution to things that are hard to express sometimes. So I like it. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if I would become a Catholic just based on that.
No,
I don't
definitely
think.
I wouldn't ever.
Yeah.
No, I'm I'm the opposite. Or
Well,
but yeah, but I think, yeah, I'm just fascinated too by, I'm just interested, or not fast, I'm just like interested in rituals and what people do, and different cultures and
yeah, me too.
everything. And then also, I mean, yeah, a lot of what I do with like witchcraft is, or being a witch is ritual, is just building rituals.
Yeah.
Um, so
And do you work with people who are new to rituals, and so there's like almost like a a boundary of belief they have to get over, or do you know what I mean?
what do you mean?
Kind of like with psychics, sometimes you have to. Part of it is believing in it for it to work.
Yeah.
Do you ever struggle with people kind of who are wary, or do usually people who are working with you are already kind of?
Oh, you mean when I'm like teaching and stuff?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, no, yeah, there are people that are wary, but yeah, usually it's people that, want, like, have an interest
yeah.
in doing it. And but I think I'm like pretty, I always call myself the skeptical Reiki, the skeptics like Reiki, just like energy worker, witch, whatever.
Right.
Get like that skeptical mind, and sort of having, I think you can be very grounded when you do things like that,
Yeah. No, I appreciate that too because it's I don't know how to explain it. Yeah, I think it makes it much more approachable. When people are saying, "Well, I do this and I have this relationship to this practice and I'm still thinking about it." It's not like I unquestioningly do it.
Totally. Because I mean,
Yeah.
also, really, ultimately, like, a lot of it is like engaging in mystery.
Mm-hmm.
And so we don't know, and I
Yeah.
feel a lot of like, religions and even new age people and everything that just are like, I know.
Yeah.
We know what, it's, we are reincarnated, and this is what this means, and this is what this color means, and like whatever, and
Right.
really we don't know. And so we can have our experience and sort of like maybe a basis for understanding certain things when we're engaging in mystery. But, but I think there's this other element of like just having ritual that is kind of a sacred space, but isn't necessarily like, they're just not, you don't necessarily need a belief. I don't know if that makes sense. Like, so
No, I
say like
do.
solstice, like, you
It's just
know,
trusting a process without the, not needing a dogma to trust a process, like art's a lot like that for me. Like sometimes I just have to trust the process and not then just embrace a certain amount of uncertainty. And that's really
yeah,
beautiful, because then the process ends up making something happening that I welcome, but I don't necessarily have control over, if that makes sense. Like, I don't know. Now
yeah. No, so
we're getting into the hard to say stuff.
well, yeah. I mean, there's an element of like, so say, it just made me think of like, I like got really into making flower essences for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and well, I took this like class with this woman.
At the Golden Dome School. That,
No,
oh, okay.
no,
Was there
it's
someone? Yeah.
on Instagram. She's like an herbal person or whatever, but
Okay.
she's a great teacher. I followed her on Instagram that she was giving this like, kind of like short class on making flower essences, and I took it, and it was really incredible. Like, just, she sort of had these steps that are a ritual for engaging with plants. And that was very like practical in a way. It was like, well, this is what you do, and this is what you do, this is what you do. And I mean, the things you're doing aren't that practical. You're like, singing to the flower, whatever. But just being open, engaging, and showing up, like, sort of
Yeah.
ended up having these results that were completely unexpected to me.
Hmm.
Um,
Cool. That sounds great.
yeah, just like, I don't know. I feel like it'll take too long to really like explain it, but
Well,
but
we are at our end point.
yeah, I had a feeling we were approaching the end point, so I was like, I don't know.
But to stay tuned, it sounds great, and we'll definitely have to talk about it again, because yeah, I'm interested. I'm interested in that. I got really interested in fragrances for a while, and just it's a great art form.
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, um, thanks for your time and hanging out with me. I'm going to switch my camera around. Oh, that looks great. I like
So
you worked with colored pencils today.
I did, yeah.
Mm. All right. Well, thanks, Nicole.
And
Again, thanks for just hanging out. I hope everyone had a nice time with us. Let's see if I can remember what we went through. We talked about Catholicism. We talked about vampirism. We talked about flower essences, magic, a little bit. Am I missing anything? I think that
queer
was. You never know.
nun
All
porn.
right. What's that?
I said nun porn.
Oh, gun porn. Oh, we didn't even talk about Ms. 45, which is it's like a revenge fantasy, and in the end, she dresses as a nun and kills down a bunch of people.
Oh my God, I don't know that one. I'll have to check it
Yeah,
out.
I'll send you a clip. It's good.
Okay.
It's a 70s New York kind of thing. But
Yeah.
yeah. All right.
All right.
Well,
Thank you so much.
thanks. Yeah, thank you. And thanks everybody for joining us. Doodle with Me is every Friday night and 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time, 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and everything in between. And just enjoying doing these with you. And thanks for coming. I hope you had a good time. Okay. Have a great weekend. Bye, Nicole.
Bye. Good night.
Good night. Let's see. How do I do this? I forgot. Okay. There we go.